welcome to today's Coffee and Clarity Chat. Your host, Robin Chevry here, business and clarity coach. And today I am interviewing the incredible Queen Chioma, who is an international motivational speaker, TV presenter, PR and media coach, and her mission is to teach, speak, and heal. So Queen, welcome to the show today, and tell me, what does that mean for you, that mission? I love that.
Thank you so much, Robin. It's such a pleasure to be on your show. And that was such a beautiful introduction. Wow, that's such a good question. I think that my whole mission with this teach, speak, and heal is most certainly in regards to teaching, I feel like I'm called to teach and to share like motivational messages, to share my PR media messages, to share messages on success and motivation. But then with the speaking, I believe I'm called to, be on stages and make that impact, not just in the UK, but in different countries. So I love the idea of going out and being on stage and, really getting out of my comfort zone to empower young people, to empower women, and just to empower the wider world in any way that I can. And then when it comes to the healing part, I believe I'm meant to heal people through songs. So I love singing. I love to record songs, which I haven't done in a while actually, but I do have an EP and I used to perform a lot. And so I do hope to go back to the studio. So I just want to, in a way, bring that healing through songs and also through my faith in God. I believe that God will also use me to bring healing, whether that's physical healing in terms of praying for people, whether that's just helping them in terms of their mindset or their emotions. And so I feel like having compassion and showing people love and, praying for people can also be another way to, to be used for that healing process for others.
I love all of this. And
thank you.
One thing that, really grabbed my attention when you said about speaking, because I just, everyone kind of in my space, we're learning a lot on the internet. We're following people online. We're watching people,
Yes.
do live videos, but there's something different about being at a live event and listening to a speaker and being in a room full of people who are all there to kind of learn the same thing as you and just be in that energy. Like it's so impactful, and you can get such an energetic shift in just, a couple of hours, even sometimes, or a weekend. Sort of conference, and it's just a massive impact that makes. So I love that you're in that arena. So tell me, Queen, how you got started in all of this. Like, tell me, your background and where this all came from.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I think that where it came from was, I definitely think there were some pivotal moments, but there was one moment in particular when I was literally around 2008. So around 2008, I think it was 2010. So around 2010, I remember receiving a phone call from a woman in Cyprus, and she, was from an organization that dealt with everything to do with music and to do with like artists. And so what she wanted was for me to fly out to Cyprus and join this girl band. Prior to this time, I just finished my degree about 2 years before, sorry. And I also remember that I had this desire to do some speaking. So I did do a little bit of speaking, and I organized a couple of motivational seminars. But I really think that Cyprus phone call and it was actually on Good Friday. I remember it like it was yesterday. Picked up the phone and it was like, hi, my name is, and she went into this whole discussion about like, she knows I'm the person that's meant to join this girl band and I need to move out instantly. And, can you be out here, within 2 days? And I had so much to, in a way, lose, but at the same time, so much to gain. So it looked like an opportunity of a lifetime. I did research into it. I spoke to a girl that was doing it, and she was like, yep, it's legit. It's real. This is, I've been doing things like this for a long time. So I was like, oh my goodness, I was going to be paid and everything. But I think that what I realized were two things. When all the excitement wore off, I realized that, number one, there was still more work to be done in the UK. And number two, I spoke to my mum's friend, and he said to me, if you don't end up going, he said, actively seek opportunities. And I think that was the word I needed to hear. It wasn't that I had to go to Cyprus and join this girl band for 8 months and pack up and leave the UK, but it was that whatever I'm doing now, step it up, like step it up 10 times, by 100 times. You can do so much more. And so I decided to take that path, and I started to apply for auditions. I started to just put myself out there in a big way, because I didn't want a situation where I didn't go for an opportunity and then in the end I just sitting around doing nothing. I wanted to prove that I still am going to be very passionate about opportunities. And so in the end, I did decide to organize more events, and I put myself forward for TV things. And by the time I knew it, people started to book me to basically speak at their events, and to, because they saw I was serious and they saw that I had connections, and I was, I was always saying yes to opportunities. And by the time I knew it, I was booked, like I had 25 bookings in just months. And it was to either sing or to speak, and it would be all these amazing events. And I even got to the point where I got to speak at the House of Parliament. And that's like the White House in America. So it was just, one thing after another. And I think that's how it all began.
Amazing. That's so incredible. So I don't know if I've ever asked you this or we've ever talked about it, but it sounds to me like, just knowing a little bit about your background and where you've come from, that, you haven't really had much for like traditional, like office jobs or things like that. Would you say that's correct? Or have you always kind of been in a different kind of space?
Great. I think that's such a good question. I mean, I definitely have had traditional jobs, but I guess I didn't have it for too long. Mm-hmm. So I've had quite a few jobs. Like I started off working in Clinton cards, which is so funny because that reminds me of like literally teenage years. I was like 17, and then I went on to French Connection, and then it was Selfridges, and then it was Jane Norman. And so I did all the retail thing. I did lots of retail stores in Oxford Street in the UK, all these big flagship stores. And then from there, I started to, I finished off uni because I was studying at the same time. So I was working part-time. I was always a freelance hairdresser. So this is the thing. I actually had a gift in hairdressing. So I had all these clients. So in a way, eventually I realized I don't really need a job. Like, even though I was doing it, I always used to feel like I don't need a job. I'm talented. I can just do hair for the rest of my life and make money that way and open a salon.
Yeah.
But I think I had, with the fact that I did study at university, I did want to use my degree, and I didn't want to just be a hairdresser, even though I love hair. And I still want to have a salon one day, but I did want to use the degree that I had and my master's that I ended up having as well. I wanted to use these degrees. I didn't really know where I wanted to go in regards to my career. I got to a point where I realized that this isn't for me. I worked in some nurseries, like worked with children, for example. I ended up going into working in a college as an exam officer. I ended up working in admin, lots of admin companies, and working for housing companies and so on and so forth. But then one day I remember saying to myself, God, please, I was praying. I was like, Lord, I don't want to do this. I just want to work for myself. Please make me work for myself, please. And so that tugging was always pulling at me. And then I remember when I left my last job in education, I remember that I ended up being in the right place at the right time. So I got this TV presenting job. By being at this TV presenting opportunity, and I didn't expect to be put forward for anything. It was a meeting. I was, kind of like supporting someone, but they said to me, what about you? Like, are you interested in presenting? Because I think you'll be great. And it was like, whoa, like, where did this come from? And he goes, can you come back tomorrow? I'd love to interview you. And I just decided to just go for it. And I think that was like the biggest breakthrough of my life, because once I started to go on that TV channel, which was called Ben TV, I have been on that TV channel for years. And so I do believe that the traditional jobs thing, in a way, it was fun and I loved it. But at the same time, I knew I wasn't called to be a career woman. I knew I was called to be an entrepreneur, and I had to follow the feeling eventually.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting, because all the entrepreneurs that I speak to, it's like we just have this thing inside of us that tells us, right? Like,
yes,
you're meant to be free. You're meant to do this, the way that you want to, right? And, do life that
Correct.
way, because our business, it always ends up being so much more than just like a business. It's like our baby. It's an extension of
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. And it's just like the way we were meant to live life and the way we were meant to do it is through
I
entrepreneurship and helping
agree.
other people. Yeah. So fun.
Yeah, exactly. We just know it, and it's that calling in a way.
Yeah. So I want to switch
Mm,
gears a little bit and go deeper with you, because I remember one of the first times we ever actually connected was through the She is Unstoppable book and some of the work that you were doing with us there. And one of the
yes.
videos you were talking about. And I love that you are, obviously, TV, media, all of this stuff. We think of like, okay, put on the face and get on, right? And get on
Mm,
stage. But I
yeah.
think you're just so willing to like share and be open. And you also talk a lot about like the spiritual side of things and how to
Hmm.
manifest things, which I think there's so many people are like, okay, well, here's, your 7 steps to X, Y, and Z. Like, here's how you could get on the media. But for you, you're like, you have to set the intention first. And I just really resonate with that because I do so much of that in my own work. And I was like, yes,
Yeah,
I love that. It's like, it has to start there. Right. So, um,
exactly.
yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you feel like that has impacted, your work, your business, the work that you do with your clients and that kind of thing.
Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yes. I remember how we met, and it's been so wonderful to know you and connect. And congratulations with your book, by the way.
Yes. Thank you.
Yay. um, so I mean, I definitely love what you said about, like, in a way, having the spiritual side, and also in a way, the one of the things I really discovered is that I can work and work and work in regards to PR. I can put my clients forward for interviews and try and get them into magazines and onto TV. And then I could also try and do the same for myself, but without like praying or journaling, or whether it be, visualizing my success, and without the affirmations, I'm going nowhere fast. So I really have realized over time that I do need to take it seriously to make sure that I am really working on my inner game, my mindset, and that I'm not like neglecting that, because sometimes I've done all the work but I don't see results, and it's because I haven't made space for my faith. I haven't put my faith in this, and so I really feel like it's impacted me in terms of, in a way, the speed. Things happen a lot quicker when I, cling to my faith, and I also think it becomes more enjoyable and more fun, and more like there's more ease and flow, and I love ease and flow.
Yes, I think like it's so interesting to me because, I see people saying, well, you can't have a business that's not hard work and all of that. And it's like, well, yes, hard work is important in our businesses, but this stuff has to come first because we can put in all of the hard work and,
And
just go to town. But if we don't have
exactly.
that, yeah, if we don't have that connection, that ease and flow in the beginning, then we're just putting in all the work. And exactly like you said, like it speeds things up sometimes to slow down, which is just crazy. But it's like the backwards way of thinking. But
Most certainly, I do agree 100%.
love it. So, Queen, tell me what you think you would say is probably your hardest or your biggest struggle, like becoming an entrepreneur, maybe in business, or something you learned about yourself in this entire process.
I love that one. I definitely think that my biggest struggle was, I mean, I guess it's people, really. I think that people have so much expectations. And sometimes it's like, how do you please everyone? So you want to please your mum, you want to please your clients, and then you have to follow your own path. And I think that's been the biggest struggle of all.
I can totally relate to that one.
It's like so many expectations, and you feel like, what do I follow? What do I do? And and then you just have to follow your dreams and your heart,
Yeah.
or you'll never be happy. So I think
Yeah.
that has been the biggest challenge, like just being able to know that I have all these like my 2 degrees, but still feeling that feeling to go in my own way, in my
Hmm.
own path, and just not having to, in a way, be controlled by people.
Yes, it's so true. And I love that you said like it's the only way to be happy. And it's just because I talk a lot about people pleasing, and it's something that I still catch myself doing sometimes. But it's just
Yes,
trying to live
exactly.
up, live up to other people's expectations of like who we are supposed to be. But I think a lot of it comes from we have taught them that that's who we are, right? So
Hmm.
we've hidden a certain version of ourselves because we're afraid to be judged or afraid to chase our dreams. And then all of a sudden we're like, no more. And we put our foot down and we do
Exactly.
it. And they're like, who are you? Who is this person? Right. And it's really interesting when that happens, and we tend to have people who start to pull
Mm,
away energetically from us, or there's conflict, and I think so many women, especially
definitely.
women who are people pleasers, go through that when they're like stepping up and stepping into their power and just going after it, which is I think something to be expected, that's going to happen, and know that that's part of the process. So do you feel like you experienced
Yeah.
any of that, like
Mhm.
people falling out of your life?
Oh my goodness. Indeed, I did. I mean, sometimes it was like, I could have the best friendships or relationships with people. And because I just wanted to do things my way, I noticed that they would. So, I mean, it's so weird because sometimes I'd feel like they're just looking down on me because I don't have a corporate job. And before they thought, like, the funny thing is, like, I had a time where I went back into employment for 1 year. You should have seen the difference. Like, oh my god, I'm your best friend again, or I'm your best, the best family member again. But then the minute I went back out of employment and focused on entrepreneurship again, it was like they just went really cold and weird. And so I definitely think that I have had some, even if they didn't like leave entirely, just their energy towards me changed.
Yeah.
And that has been painful sometimes because you want love, you want that acceptance, but at the same time, it also helped me to remember that you can't please everybody. My grandma used to always say, I will not displease, like, I don't want to please others and displease myself. And I loved that. And I've hidden that in my heart. And I just want to follow my calling because I know that when I finally get to a certain level, they're going to all come, along and say, oh my God, congratulations, you made it in the end. So they're like, it's like J-Lo, like everyone
Yeah.
rejected her. Her mother, like, she had to move out and everything. But now look at her, like her mum's her biggest cheerleader in the, whenever she does their concerts, her mum is like, whoa, that's my daughter, that kind of thing. So they will be that temporary pain, but in a way, the healing that will come in the long run will just be 10 times more immense. Like, it'll be so powerful.
Hmm. And I mean, who says we were here to please other people anyway, right? Like, let's just go
Exactly.
out and live our lives. And if they like us, they like us. And if
Yeah,
they don't, they don't, right?
exactly. Like, after all, I mean, we're all gonna like choose to live where we want. We're gonna have, the husbands or the cars or whatever we want to do. We have that freedom, whether we want to pack up and move to Italy. So we're
Mhm.
never gonna, always be around the same people anyway, because we have different desires and choices and decisions to make.
So true. So true. So
Mm.
Queen, what would you say is your biggest achievement so far?
So do you mean like in terms of entrepreneurship or just in general?
I would say in general, what is the thing that like that you're the most proud of that you've created?
Now, yeah, I mean, I definitely would say, I have to say it's my master's degree, because there
Mm.
was a time where it looked like I wasn't going to get my first degree. I had to, I was studying law. I was trying to become a lawyer, and that in itself is another story. And it was like I was trying to be something that it just wasn't me. And so when I changed my degree to mass communications and sociology, that was like more of me.
Mhm.
And I just ended up, graduating successfully. And I think I was like, wow, when you live to please others, you'll be miserable. When you live to please yourself, you'll be happy. And so I definitely believe that also was part of the thing that made me want to go out there and speak to young people and speak to women and make that impact with speaking, because I realized that I need to teach people to stop living for others and use their gifts and talents to change lives, but not like follow your dreams. And success is really a subjective thing. Like, you all have a different view on success. If you want to live on a farm, and if you want to, you know, live a quiet life, do that. If you want to live a life where it's like loud and really full of like Hollywood life with glamorous cars and shoes and, you know, the handbags, then live that way. We all have a different desire. So I think that was my biggest success, because going on to achieve the masters was the biggest success for me, because I didn't think I'll get the first degree and then I ended up with 2. So to me, it touches my heart, not just because of myself, but because I've been able to use it to do the speaking and to give back in that way.
I love that. I love it.
Thank you.
So tell me, what are you working on right now? What is big and happening in your life at the moment and your business?
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so I definitely think I'm working on putting myself out there with speaking gigs. I've been doing loads this year. I basically got booked for a solid week, and I've done loads of sessions on that week with lots of different students at a university. And then I'm hoping to do a lot more. I've been booked for other speaking gigs. So this year to me is the year of speaking and going back into television in a bigger way. Another thing that I really want to do is, I did write a book. I want to write my second book. And my book is called Recipe Success. And so yeah, I wrote my first book, got it published on Amazon. Want to get another book out there, but this time I'm looking like, I mean, you know, one of those like best-selling books and book launch, everything. I want to go big with it, and it's going to be on confidence and charisma. So that's something I'm working on, my second book for this year. And then another thing I'm really working on is, I'm also working on really trying to get my PR and media bundle out there. That's like my, in a way, it's a bit like a spotlight course that I really feel is meant to be the course to help like hundreds of thousands of women over, you know, a period of time with PR. Because I see some of the people in the media world, and I honestly sometimes cringe at the lack of quality when it comes to the media world. The celebrities that go onto television, sometimes I'm like, we're just watching trash. Like, who cares about this rumor and this gossip? And like, I want to see women entrepreneurs on television, on radio. I want to see them in newspapers. I want them, because they are sharing like empowering stories and messages. And I just don't think that women get enough visibility. And so that's why I created the bundle, so that it would be something that women could always access to just keep on, you know, increasing their visibility. So these are the main things. And I guess also hosting maybe like 1 or 2 VIP events as well.
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. I love your mission to get women entrepreneurs in media and get them more visible, because I think there's so many women out there that really do have an impactful message. And, you know, you're right. We are surrounded by, you know, this trash and gossip and things like that in the media and magazines and all of that. And it's not to say everything is like that, but we need to surround ourselves with so much better information and better, you know, just be inputting so much better things into our brains on a consistent basis. So
most certainly.
I love that. So where is the best place if our audience wants to look you up, reach you, get in contact with you, and get some PR media help?
Yes. Well, lovely people listening. I definitely think that you can, well, I don't think, I know that you can find me on my website, which is www.queenchomamedia.com. And I'm also on Instagram, and that's at Queen Choma, and Facebook, just type in my name as well, Queen Choma, and you'll see me pop up there as well. And yeah, definitely say hi to me, because I'd love to hear from you, and it'd be so wonderful to connect.
Awesome. Yeah, and of course we'll get all your links and everything in the information for this recording here as well. But I guess to wrap up, I would love to ask you if there is 1 or 2 pieces of advice that you would have for a woman who's becoming an entrepreneur, who's looking to step out and run her own business, leave the corporate world, chase her dream. You know, what is the one big piece of advice that you would give to her?
Yes, most certainly. I would say that you've got to follow the feeling. You've got to follow your heart. Listen to your heart. Your heart does speak, and there is a message that's always been conveyed to you that you should feel completely courageous to go after. Your family may temporarily reject you. Your friends, some of them may temporarily reject you, but you will always reject yourself if you don't say yes to your dreams. You may be accepted by the whole world, but if you can't look yourself in the mirror and say, oh my God, I accept myself, that's the worst thing. So literally step into your power, believe in yourself, know that you can achieve anything. It may be hard sometimes, but saying goodbye to your career that you know isn't right for you anyway, build a bridge and walk across the bridge towards your entrepreneurial dream. So it may not happen overnight. Maybe you need to work bit by bit, like kind of reduce your hours until you're able to go completely full-time with your business. But trust me, if you just if you ask those right questions, like Tony Robbins says, he says, ask better questions. And Marie Forleo talks about this. If you can ask better questions, how can I make this dream come true? What is the way? What's the path? Then you'll find that bit by bit, you'll begin to be shown those signs, and then you can, walk in that path. And definitely reach out to mentors or people that that are doing this. Get yourself around the right people, other women entrepreneurs in Facebook groups, and there's lots of events that you could, go to for beginners and startups. Look out for opportunities and run with it.
Amazing. Yes. Two big pieces there on just getting yourself and surrounding yourself with other women and mentors who are, there to lift you up, and just chasing after it, just doing it, stepping into your power, asking your brain better questions on how can I make this work? Because we do get stuck in that this will never work kind of space sometimes. So absolutely incredible advice. And it was amazing to have you on today. I love chatting with you. You have a beautiful energy and so much of that confidence.
Thank you.
You just ooze the sparkle, and I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been so wonderful. And I just hope that this has added value to your listeners. And I just wish you so much success on your fabulous show, because I know it's going to be great and it's going to keep on evolving.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right. Well, to our listeners, we will chat with you very soon.